Okay, so get ready for this deep dive. We're looking at a new online game called Survive the Island.
Oh, wow, I've heard of this.
Right. So it's a choose your own adventure, but like, get this, it's multiplayer.
Multiplayer choose your own adventure. That's interesting.
It's a really cool concept. So you're stranded on this mysterious island with a bunch of other players.
Oh, I see. So like everyone is making choices together.
Yeah, exactly.
Neat.
Each week, everyone makes decisions that affect, well, not only their own fate in the game,
Hmm.
but the entire story.
Wow, so it really is collaborative. Like everyone is writing the story together.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it so unique. It's like those classic choose your own adventure books, but brought to life in this like modern online setting.
Oh, for sure. I remember those books as a kid.
Yeah.
You'd always try to find the paths that led to the best ending.
Exactly. But what really got me interested in this game is the whole emphasis on like meaningful choices.
Hmm.
Every decision has real consequences. There's no just kind of sitting on the fence or choosing a path just because. It's all about really thinking through your decisions.
I can see that the creator of the game is very clear about that. They want the game to be a true escape for players.
Like a real break from reality.
Yeah. To fully immerse yourself in the story and like actually have your decisions matter. It's not just clicking through predetermined paths. It's about shaping the narrative with your choices.
Okay, so let's talk about these choices because it's not just about the story, right? You've got a whole group of players, and each player has this unique skill that influences their decisions.
Ah, that's interesting. So it's not just like random people making choices.
Nope, they each bring something to the table.
Yeah.
So the skills are like intelligence, resourcefulness, endurance, strength, charisma, and cunning.
Okay, that's a pretty diverse range of skills. I'm picturing all sorts of different
Right.
personalities already.
We too.
Yeah.
And just looking at the player list, there are some interesting combinations.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, for example, we have Boone and Brian. They both chose intelligence as their skill.
Okay, so two very analytical minds. How do you think that will play out?
That's what I'm wondering. And then you've got folks like Mayo, Jill, and several others who went with resourcefulness.
Oh, that's a good one. How do you think those skill sets might clash or, maybe even work together in a situation where they need to, like, I don't know, build a shelter or find food?
Right. That's a great question. I mean, I could see the resourceful players being really good at, like, finding supplies and things like that.
Yeah, they're the ones who can scavenge and make do with what they find.
Exactly. But maybe the intelligent players would be better at actually figuring out how to use those supplies efficiently.
Right, like coming up with creative solutions and strategies.
It's almost like a real-world team dynamic, but playing out in this virtual environment.
That's a cool way to think about it.
Hmm.
And, it makes you wonder how these different personalities would interact under pressure.
Especially when you add in the element of, well, danger.
Oh, yeah, right? They're not just hanging out on a tropical vacation island.
Definitely not. I mean, the creator has hinted at the possibility of encountering animals or potentially monsters.
Whoa, monsters. Okay, now that's interesting. How do you think those player skills will come into play when they're facing, like, actual threats?
That's a great question because, someone with strength might try to like physically fight off a creature,
Mm.
but then you've got someone with charisma who might try to talk their way out of it.
Oh, interesting. So there could be multiple ways to approach a dangerous situation.
Exactly. It's not just about brute force. It's about using your unique skills to kind of navigate these challenges, whatever they may be.
It really adds another layer to the gameplay.
Yeah.
And then there's cunning, right? We can't forget about that.
Right. We've got players like Graham Ian who chose that skill.
Mm-hmm.
They could be the masterminds behind like alliances or maybe even sabotage attempts.
Ooh, sabotage. That's a whole other level of strategy involved. I mean, if you're stranded on an island with limited resources, are you going to cooperate or are you going to compete?
And that's what I think makes this game so intriguing. It's not just about surviving the island, it's about surviving each other.
Right. And with those weekly decisions, it's like every choice could shift the balance of power.
Absolutely. And the creator is really emphasizing that aspect of like unpredictability. They've said there are no neutral outcomes in the game.
What does that mean, neutral outcomes?
Like every decision has to push the story forward in some way. There's no just like coasting along or making a choice that doesn't really matter.
Oh, I see. So every week, things are changing, the story is evolving, and it's all driven by the players.
Exactly. It makes you really think about the consequences of each choice, which is kind of cool because it's not just a game. It's like a mini social experiment.
And yet the stakes are high too, right? Because the creator mentioned that players who don't actually make choices, like if they just skip a week or something.
Oh, yeah. They face serious consequences, potentially even elimination from the game.
So it's not just about passively observing. You have to be engaged. You have to commit. You have to make those tough choices.
It's high stakes, but that's part of what makes it so exciting, right? It's a chance to step outside of your everyday life and just, like, really get lost in this shared experience with other players.
Yeah, and that shared experience is crucial, In a world that can feel increasingly isolating, I think games like this offer a way for people to connect, to collaborate, and to just escape from reality for a little while each week.
Totally. It's like a weekly dose of adventure and intrigue, all from the comfort of your own home.
Right. And you get to be part of this ongoing story, this evolving world.
It's not just about the adrenaline rush either.
Mm.
The creator really emphasizes the importance of fun and like meaningful interactions between players.
Mm.
It's about forging alliances, maybe making some enemies along the way, and just ultimately creating a story that you'll remember long after the game is over.
So it's like a story you're building together, almost like a shared memory.
Exactly.
That was a good one to think about. What would you bring to the island?
Right. It's like, what's your top priority when it comes to survival?
Yeah, it's really revealing. And, it makes you wonder if those choices would reflect how people play the game, too.
Oh, totally. Like where they try to recreate comforts from home or just jump right into the challenges.
Right. It's like a little peek into their personality.
Thinking of personality, remember all those different player skills we talked about?
Yeah. Intelligence, resourcefulness, all that.
I'm curious which ones you think would be like the most crucial for surviving in this game.
Oh, that's a tough one. It really depends on what the creator throws at them.
Okay, true.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick like your top 3 skills for making it off the island.
Hmm. Top three. Let's see. I think I'd have to go with resourcefulness, endurance, and cunning.
Interesting choices. Why those 3?
Well, first, you got to be resourceful.
Hmm.
You're stranded with limited supplies, so you need to be able to think outside the box, improvise solutions.
Right, like make the most of what you have.
Exactly. Then there's endurance. This game is going to be tough,
Hmm.
mentally and physically.
Hunger, thirst, the elements, potential monsters.
Right. You need that inner strength to keep going when others might give up.
Okay, I'm with you. And then cunning. What makes that so important?
Well, think about it. It's not just about surviving the island, it's about the other players.
Right, the social game.
Exactly. You need to be able to read people, anticipate their moves, maybe even manipulate situations to your advantage.
Oh, it's getting strategic.
Oh, yeah. Remember, the creator specifically mentioned sabotage.
That's right. Players working against each other.
It adds a whole other level of complexity to the game.
You're not just trying to outsmart the island. You're trying to outsmart the other players, too.
And with those weekly decisions, the alliances could shift constantly.
It's like a game of social chess, high stakes.
And don't forget, the creator said only a few players will escape.
Yeah, that raises the stakes even more.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what people would do under that kind of pressure.
Would they cooperate or just prioritize their own survival?
It's like a question about human nature, right?
Totally. And then you add in those animals, or potentially monsters.
Oh, right. What are your thoughts on those? What kind of creatures do you think we might encounter?
Well, knowing the creator, they're going to be visually interesting.
Yeah, I'm picturing something pretty intense.
But they'll also be a real challenge for the players. It won't just be about running away.
So the player skills will really come into play.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine someone with strength trying to fight off a creature.
Well, someone with cunning might try to set a trap.
Or someone with charisma might try to talk to it. Who knows?
There could be so many different approaches.
And don't forget about those curses or marks that were mentioned.
Oh, right. Those add a whole other element of suspense.
It's like you're constantly wondering if a past choice is going to come back to haunt you.
It makes every decision feel even more important.
And it brings up another interesting question. How would players react to those curses?
Would they give up or try to turn it into a strength?
It's all about how you adapt, right?
And that's what I think makes this game so compelling. It's not just about escaping the island. It's about facing challenges and learning about yourself in the process.
It's like a test of your resilience, both physically and mentally.
And speaking of tests, the creator has hinted at bigger plans for the game.
Oh, yeah, remember. Future versions, different settings.
Okay, you've teased this long enough. Spill the beans. What can we expect from these future versions of Survive the Island?
Well, I don't want to give away too much.
Come on, just a little preview.
All right. Let's just say the creator has a lot of ideas.
Like what?
Imagine a game where you're not stranded on an island, but on a spaceship.
Whoa, hold on. Space exploration? Alien encounters.
That's just one idea. They've also talked about historical settings, fantasy worlds, even virtual reality gone wrong.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown.
And each setting would bring new challenges, new ways to test those player skills.
It's like taking the core concept of the game and expanding it to a whole universe of possibilities.
Exactly. But you know, as exciting as all that sounds, I think one thing will always stay the same.
What's that?
The power of choice. Your decisions will always matter. They'll shape the story, your character, your fate.
That's what makes this game so special. It's not just a story you're watching unfold, it's a story you're helping to create.
And with each new version, each new world, we'll get to explore different parts of ourselves, different ways to survive.
It's like an ongoing experiment in human nature.
And I can't wait to see where it takes us next.
So last time we asked what you'd bring to that island.
Right. That one item you wish you had.
It's amazing how such a simple question can really get you thinking, you know?
Yeah, it makes you consider your priorities, like what's truly essential.
And it shows that everyone has a different approach to survival, right?
Oh, definitely. Some people are all about practicality, others want comfort.
It's almost like a glimpse into their personality.
Exactly. And speaking of personality, you know, one thing I've been thinking about is how the creator of this game really emphasizes player feedback.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting aspect of it.
Remember how players explain their reasoning for each decision?
Right. It's not just about clicking a button. You have to justify your choice.
Exactly. It gives the creator this incredible insight into, like, the minds of the players.
So they can see what motivates people, what resonates with them.
Right. And then use that to shape the story moving forward.
So it's not just a fixed narrative. It's this constantly evolving thing.
Exactly. It's like a collaborative storytelling experience.
The creator is listening to the players, and the players are shaping the game.
It's a really cool dynamic. And, you know, it makes me think about how Survive the Island could be like a starting point for other games.
Oh, right. The creator mentioned that.
Yeah, like taking this core concept and applying it to different settings.
Different worlds, different challenges.
Imagine like a space exploration version or maybe a historical one.
Ooh, stranded in ancient Rome.
Exactly. Or maybe a fantasy world with magic and mythical creatures.
The possibilities are kind of endless, right?
And with each new setting, you could explore different aspects of human nature.
Different ways to survive, different challenges to overcome.
It's like an invitation to keep exploring, keep pushing the boundaries of interactive storytelling.
It's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
But no matter where the game takes us, I think one thing will always be at the heart of it.
What's that?
The power of choice. The decisions you make will always matter.
Absolutely. They'll define your character, shape the story, and ultimately determine your fate.
It's like you're not just playing a game, you're writing your own story.
And that's pretty powerful feeling, don't you think?
Definitely. Well, folks, that about wraps up our deep dive into Survive the Island.
We've covered a lot of ground: player skills, survival strategies, the psychology of decision-making.
The thrill of the unknown, the potential for future versions, and most importantly, the power of choice.
We hope this deep dive has sparked your imagination and maybe even inspired you to check out the game for yourself.
Because in the end, survive. The island is more than just a game. It's a chance to explore what it means to be human, to face challenges, and to discover the strength within ourselves.
So keep exploring, keep choosing, and keep surviving.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive.